Hi guys,
What?
it's Porsche Taylor. Are you guys how are we doing this? This is the first time, so I'm a little
I
nervous.
was just, I was just starting to.
Oh, go ahead.
All right.
Yeah, I get to be the guinea
Hey
pig. Go for it.
everyone, welcome back. It's our 3 o'clock Eastern time, and we are with Portia Taylor of Black Girls Ride, and she is going to talk about refueling your passion and finding your purpose. And I just have to tell you, I talked Portia into this because I find her story so inspiring and fascinating, and what she's done and what she's created has been so inspiring for me that she doesn't like to talk about herself too much. She likes to be of service, and so we talked her into telling her story. So I will leave it to you, Portia. Thanks for being here with us.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, she did talk me into this, and I'm happy to be here with you guys. This is very exciting. So I'll just get right into it. I'm gonna share my screen. Hopefully, I think I got rid of all of the stuff I shouldn't have. But I wanted to just kind of walk you guys through where Black Girls Ride came from, how I got started writing, and just my story from the beginning. So if you guys have any questions, I'm sure Brittany's going to help me with that as we go through this. So I am Portia Taylor, for those of you guys who are meeting me for the first time. I am a motorcycle rider here in Los Angeles, California, the Long Beach area primarily, and I've been riding since 2003. So I'll take you guys on my journey and kind of let you know where it all started. So at some point in life, we all come to a place where we're just kind of searching for more, right? There's an indescribable feeling that you're supposed to be doing more with your talent than you are. Um, for me, motorcycling played a significant role in helping me to develop my purpose. And it started in 2003. I started riding motorcycles because my cousin put me on the back of his bike, and I enjoyed it, but I didn't enjoy not being in control of the ride. So there was always kind of a notion in the back of my mind that one day I'm going to get a bike. In 2003, the movie Biker Boys came out, and an amazing group of women called Total Package Motorcycle Club were featured in the movie. And the cool thing about them were they were all riding their own bikes. They were all riding sport bikes, 600cc and above. And it just was the first time that I saw someone that I could identify with that was a motorcycle rider. I didn't really know too many people from the MC community in my city, but so this movie was kind of my gateway into it. And I know it's kind of cheesy and a lot of people laugh when I tell them that, but there's something to be said for being able to see yourself riding, in certain ways. So that was my inspiration. So right here you see my very first bike. This is my 1998 Kawasaki Ninja ZX6R. I absolutely love this bike to death. I love this bike more than I love most people at the time. And I got the bike, and as soon as I got it, I was off and running. And I had the wrong helmet. It was too big. I didn't have a motorcycle jacket. I didn't have any safety gear really. I think I was riding with baseball gloves, just really doing my thing, and learning from my cousin along the way. And what happens when you learn from guys that go fast? You might learn some bad habits. So it took me a minute to find my footing. I actually did eventually take a motorcycle safety course and get licensed. I'm not ashamed to admit it. When I first started riding, I didn't have license the first. I think I might have ridden unlicensed for maybe the first year and a half before I got actually I actually got a license, which is kind of embarrassing, but it is what it is. So from there, I developed into a cross country motorcycle rider. So this is kind of my evolution from the Ninja. I eventually owned a Suzuki Hayabusa, which I owned for 10 years. And I really, really loved that bike as a comfortable sport bike for someone of my size. And a lot of folks were initially afraid of me riding a bigger bike because, you know, everybody wants to think that women can only ride small CC bikes. And I just learned over the years that if you respect the throttle, the bike will respect you. And so from there, I started riding. I went on my second cross country ride as a part of Elisa's sister centennial ride, where I was a part of the team leading the group across the United States. And this is our ride here in San Francisco. And this is the BMW R1200 RT, which became one of my favorite bikes to ride. It's a great touring bike, very comfortable, ergonomics and everything in the right place. But I wanted something that was more like a traditional American bagger. And that led me to discover Indian. Indian has great technology, and that's currently what I'm riding. So you see here the 2019 Chieftain, Indian Chieftain Limited, which I rode from here to New York about twice last year during all of my travels. And, you know, I went back and forth a few times to see my dad, who was in hospice. So, you know, I use motorcycling to clear my mind, get focused. It's where I have my most intense conversations with God about my journey, my goals. And all of that started, you know, just from riding my little Kawasaki. I noticed that when I'm on the motorcycle, I'm allowed to be selfish. Women tend to think about everyone else. We're thinking about our kids, our elderly, our jobs. We're thinking about our community and ways to be of service in every different way. But when you're on the bike, you're allowed to only think of yourself and your safety. And so that was something that really helped me decompress from stress. And so I call it my wind therapy, and I try to get as much of it as I can. So after riding for years, right, my life has been pretty much the standard, what you're supposed to do, what your parents tell you to do. Go to college, get a good job, work for years, and you're supposed to somehow end up with a great pension and or retirement fund. It's the process that my dad, you know, my stepdad used, and you know, that was what was taught into me. So I went to UCLA. I got a great degree in history that at the time didn't really fit into my life, but I loved history. I love the idea of learning from the past and telling the story. So I really gravitated toward that major, and I graduated. I got a great job, first in the music industry, and then eventually at Adidas as a marketing manager, where I worked for 9 years. During my time, like I said, at Adidas, and this was a beautiful job. You know, I was an entertainment marketing manager, so for music. So that means I gave your favorite musician shoes for tours and shows and videos and things of that nature. So it was an amazing job, but it wasn't fulfilling. And one day, actually the day was January 1st, 2011. I read The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, and I learned about myself through this book. I learned things about myself I could identify in the main character. And it really helped me sit down and focus and figure out what my purpose was, because for the longest time, you're just kind of spinning your wheels. You know, you don't really have a destination. You know, you're on a life journey, but you don't know where you're going, especially at that age. You're still trying to figure it out. Well, this book helped me really zero in on some key life lessons. One being that your purpose is uniquely yours, which means if you have a vision, whatever your vision is, don't worry about someone else validating it. It's yours for a reason. If God wanted them to have your vision, he would have given it to them. So that really helped me hone in on what made me happy. What were things that I found immense joy in? I know that I love motorcycles. I know that I love writing. I know that I love graphic design. I know that I love storytelling. So I try to create um, something that would allow me to do all of that and still be able to turn passion into profit. But profit was never my goal, even from the very beginning. My goal was to put a light on women in my community that I felt weren't getting showcased. And so, in that way, that's how I decided to be of service. I wanted to tell great stories about women that I knew were in motorcycling. I wanted to offer education to women where we needed it. A lot of my community were being trained, and this goes for female motorcyclists everywhere. We're learning from our dads, our brothers, our uncles, our cousins, our boyfriends, who don't really know much more than us, really. And so I thought that if we could put together training or education so that women can make good decisions, whether it's the best bike to buy or learning how to choose a bike for your size, learning how to buy a used bike, things of that nature, things that when I came into the community, that information just wasn't handy. There wasn't someone to point me in that direction. And so through that, I was able to be of service. The third thing that I learned from the book was once you decide, commit, success is not far away. You decide, commit, and succeed. Once you decide to do something, now you're only dealing with the timeline. Whether it's weight loss, whether it's motorcycling, whether it's business, once you decide and set your mind on something, the universe will conspire around you to make that happen if you are serious and you are committed. So the commitment part is where a lot of us fall short. It's the small things. It's the day-to-day follow-ups. It's the stuff that you do when nobody else is looking that take you to that next level. And I'm learning that still as I grow Black Girls Ride from what was a small Southern California platform to a now international platform. The third thing, and the fourth thing rather, that I learned is you either find a way or make a way. But that's been something that's been consistently taught to me by my stepfather since I was a teenager. He would eliminate excuses. And that just that one way, just that one thought process of if you don't have the answer, you need to either create it or you need to do the research, but no is not the end. No is not the end result. And so, I developed, especially as someone who writes proposals and, someone who has to apply for certain things, the word no doesn't hurt you. You can take the word no and learn why you were told no, develop and go back to the drawing board and prepare yourself to get the yes, but you never stop at the word no if what you want to do is that important to you. So that's something that I also took away. The fifth thing is if God gives you the vision, he'll give you the provisions. So a lot of us, when we're trying to determine where we're going to go in our lives, we worry about money or resources to get it done. Again, this goes back to the universe conspiring to help you achieve your goal once you decide and commit to it. If he gives you the vision, he will give you the provisions. You just simply must stick to your plan and believe and trust in your process. And I know all of this sounds like rhetoric that you hear time and time again, but these are things that I've integrated into how I run my business and how I've curated my life. Um, this is one of the most important things, and it's that purpose is not a journey. It's a journey, not a destination. And what that means is I've learned over the years that your purpose is going to evolve. As you achieve your goals, as you create and grow, you're going to move the goalpost. You're going to move the goalpost. So if my purpose was to learn to ride, it then evolves into learning how to ride in a group. And it then might evolve into learning how to join a motorcycle club, or it might evolve into how to create a motorcycle event for women, or how to become a resource for women, how to create a magazine for women who ride. And it grows and grows and grows and grows. And you can't be afraid of the evolution of your journey. Um, Passion is the throttle, fear is the brakes. So if you have the passion to complete a task, if you have the passion to build something your way, you won't see the fear. The fear is there. It's there to check you, to keep you from making silly mistakes or stupid decisions. Even when you're riding, a little bit of fear is good, because it's going to check you to make sure that you're not arrogant on the motorcycle and that you respect it. However, it should never stop you from moving forward. So that's important. So these are the lessons that I got from The Alchemist. And on that very same day, I made the decision to create Black Girls Ride magazine. And it happened really fast, because it just felt like a stopgap had been released. A bottleneck had been released. And all of a sudden, all of these ideas that I've been passionate about, I started writing them down on paper. I started writing my skill set down on paper. And then, you start small. You start in your own community. You start featuring women that are closest to you. And then it grows and grows and grows. And, as the magazine has grown, and here's what it started as. It started as a small pocket edition. I wanted it to be the size of a CD case, something that while I was on the motorcycle set, I could distribute and people could put in their pocket. And then ultimately we learned that print was phasing out, and we moved to the digital space. And you can get print copies, but they're ordered, per copy, as opposed to a bulk print run. My goal was to keep the magazine free. I wanted women to have access to the information. I knew that if we could provide information to women, that it would sustain itself through advertisement. It would sustain itself in different ways. But I never wanted to charge for the magazine, because I felt that the information is there. I'm just gathering it up and presenting it to folks. And so that's why, we've always kept it free. But what happened is, Black Girls Ride magazine, this is the premiere issue here on the left side. On the right it was the last issue that we did, and we turned it into a quarterly magazine. It became an international movement. And it's important for me to speak to this, because we often get folks asking, why is it Black Girls Ride? Why isn't it All Girls Ride? And I get that a lot. And so I wrote this. It says, Black Girls Ride is not an exclusive racial statement. Rather, it's an inclusive celebration of all women who live to ride. It's the positive, fearless, unapologetic, take charge attitude we exhibit on these machines as we navigate the streets of our respective cities. We live the urban biker lifestyle. We work in boardrooms and classrooms across the nation, and we find joy on the open road. From the USA and all over the world, thousands of female motorcyclists have joined the Black Girls Ride movement, and all riders are welcome. And so that's something that I feel is important to say, especially in this space, because we often get that. And I say to those who feel some kind of way that we don't have to hate you to love us, and it's not a separatist situation. It's more or less shining a light on a community that had been underserved, and we're unapologetic about it, but all women are welcome to ride with us, and they've always been. So with that, I'll go into some upcoming events that we have coming up. So we had created, again, being of service, as Elisa likes to say, we created a rider prep workshop tour that we would go into different cities across the country. But with the virus, it's not safe for us to gather right now, but we still want to make sure you're getting the information. So we're going to move into the online space. and we're going to do our first online rider prep workshop, um, featuring Allison Rocky Ha. She's a DIY bike maintenance. She's built her bike maintenance workshop, and I just feel like for beginners, this is a great place to start to learn to do while we're sitting at home, and we've got our bikes in our garages, and now's the time to start getting your bike ready to ride if you haven't for the riding season already. And she's going to offer some tips and tricks that might help you save your money as opposed to getting some things done by a professional mechanic or a dealer. And I just feel like that's a great way to start, because this pandemic is going to get better, and we will be able to ride again. Riding hasn't been canceled. And while we can't group ride, we still ride individually. I know that I still go and get wind therapy on my way to the market, on my way to get an ice cream cone, on my way to support our local restaurants that are still struggling to stay in business. So, riding your motorcycle is not a bad thing. And I want to encourage you guys, if you can, take a minute, take an hour, hop on the bike, go get some fresh air, because I know that cabin fever is a real thing for me. So I encourage you to definitely do that. At the end of the year, Elisa said, we're kind of in a holding pattern with whether or not we're going to be able to gather in 2020. However, this is the 7th year of our Beautiful Bikers Conference and Awards. And this is something that we developed again because we wanted to be of service to women who ride, and we wanted to celebrate women who ride. So our conference had already been planned for November 20th through the 22nd in Long Beach, California, at the Courtyard Marriott. That's usually during the IMS show weekend here in Long Beach. Again, we're up in the air. So if we aren't able to gather, we will definitely figure out an online way to do this conference and share the information and some of the great panelists that we have for you, and continue to be of service in that way. But you can get the information at beautifulbikers.com. We're going to continue to plan and move forward as if we're going to come out of this in California safe. And so I don't want to just stop anything there. Usually we do our annual Black Girls Ride to Essence Festival, which was it was canceled. This would have been our 3rd year riding to New Orleans to celebrate for Essence. However, because of New Orleans and how the pandemic has really spread and hurt that community, Essence made the right decision to cancel for everyone's safety. So we're going to be hosting this ride in 2020, God willing, and we'll come back and do it then. I'm hoping that everyone, would join us for that ride, and we can continue to grow what we have, and in terms of our ride getting bigger and better. But this is just a little bit of who I am. I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys might have. I think that's it for my presentation. It's pretty short and simple. As Elisa said, I find it really hard to talk about myself because I'm more of just a doer. I don't really allow the word no to stop me. So I rather just do what I'm going to do instead of talking about what I'm going to do. So that's where I'm coming from. So do you guys, if you have any questions, I don't know, I can't see the question. Oh, the Q&A. Love that comment. Would you mind maximizing the PowerPoint? Oh, I totally screwed that up. So yeah, let me do that, Carolyn. I'll maximize it so that the slide can fit the whole screen. Let me see how. There we go. Okay. So I have to get rid of that, and then I'll get rid of that, and then you guys should be able to see it. And wait a minute. There we go. Or not. Are you there, Lisa?
I am. I was just hanging out in the background.
Okay,
I wanted
good.
to ask you, well, I wanted to tell you that was the one question that we had was, could you maximize your slides?
Oh, I'm sorry.
And no worries.
Well,
I,
I'll
I
do
didn't
it.
want to
I'll do it
interrupt you
now. No,
because
I'm good. You should have.
I was really
You
enjoying it.
totally could have. You could have interrupted me, but
I know. Brittany told me to, and I said, no, I don't.
because I didn't even see it. I'm sorry. So I'm the guinea pig, guys, for
No worries.
the conference.
So I'm going to ask you some. I know you don't like talking about yourself, so I'm going to ask you some questions.
Okay.
And I understand that you had a corporate job for a while too. Will you
I
tell us
did.
about that? I know you told us a little bit about your transition, but you gave up a lot to follow your dream.
Yeah. So I was actually at a and I was there for 9 years. And I had made the decision to leave before I started the magazine. I made the decision to leave because I wasn't fulfilled, and it just wasn't. It was, it was an amazing job, honestly. But it just wasn't. I knew that there had to be more. I knew that there had to be more to life than giving free tennis shoes away. So I liken myself to that. I think if you read The Alchemist, there's a glass maker. The guy ended up being a glass maker, and he was great at it, and he did it for 10 years, but it really wasn't what he was supposed to be doing. And so after 10 years, he decided to get back on the path and follow his journey and find his passion. And that's what really spoke to me. It really, really spoke to me. Like, I've been wasting my time. I've been spinning my wheels.
Yeah.
I need to be using my superpowers for something better than this. And that's kind of how it evolved. But yeah, my job was really, really good. I would basically be stressed out over the VMA awards and whether Missy Elliott was going to wear her shoes in her performance, and how to gather that information and present it to show return on investment. And I mean, just in the scheme of things, it just isn't really that important, you know? And so that's, yeah, there's definitely more to life. And the one thing that I learned in that whole corporate experience for myself is that, because I was making great money, I had great benefits. Wealth for me is not measured in money. It's not measured in finances. Wealth for me is measured in command of your time. So being able to take a 6-week motorcycle ride, is, and I might be eating cup of noodles all along the way. I might be eating beef jerky at every gas stop, but I have the time and the resources to take that ride. I'm rich. I'm wealthy. I'm free. And so I think I told you this. The goal became to curate my life so that it became a paid vacation, so that I enjoy what I'm doing. I genuinely get joy from what I'm doing. Yeah. And that is, what I've been able to do, which I'm very, very happy about.
That's phenomenal.
And, don't get me wrong. It's got its ups and downs. We've got days of intense anxiety, days of, intense joy. And some days it feels like a job, but at the end of the day, if we've got something that we want to do, we're able to just say, you know what, I need to go take a wind therapy break. I'm going to go social distance on my motorcycle for a little while. And you don't have to clock in or ask someone, hey, do you mind if I take a longer lunch?
Yeah. We have some great questions for you,
Portia. I'm listening. I'm ready. Go for it.
So Jan asks, does anyone else in your family ride?
You know what? I learned that, my cousin who introduced me to motorcycling, definitely, but my grandfather is a motorcycle rider, and that's where he and I connected. He's in Hawaii, and, I think my grandfather's 85 now, but over these last, I want to say, 8 years, he and I have been bonding over motorcycling in a way that I never thought we would. And I'm very, very happy about that. So, but him and my cousin are the only two that I know of in my family that ride.
Okay.
Yeah.
Vicky is asking you, how did your family respond when you left the good corporate job to pursue the moto gig?
You know, there's a this is where I have to say, if God would have given them the vision, it would have been their vision. But this is my vision. So I had some my parents have never been super I don't know what the word is. Now I'm all tongue tied. But they've never been super adamant that I needed to go into any one profession, as much as they just wanted to make sure that I was okay. And I think for the longest time they didn't understand exactly what it is I'm doing. They didn't understand. You're riding motorcycles. You're gone all the time. What is this about? I don't get it. But it wasn't until I think over these last couple of years, my mom really understands what Black Girls Ride is, what the magazine is, what the movement is, about, being of service with educational events in different states. And she's behind it. She's 100% behind it. I took her for a ride in the slingshot and she had a ball, uh, she's talking about wanting to get her license, her motorcycle license, to try and get a slingshot, which is super cool. But yeah, I mean, my parents have been kind of hesitant, tentative until these last couple of years, where I guess they can see that their child isn't going to have to move back in, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm all right.
Aaron wants to know how long you've been riding.
I started riding in November of 2003. So 20 or no, 16, 17 years, something like that. 16 years, give or take. Yeah. And it's been great. I mean, I love it. I love it, love it. I've been down 3 times and got back up each time. So there's that.
Erica wants to know whether you jumped all into the moto thing or did you slowly phase out of the corporate job? She's at that same stage right now. And
I phased out and I spun my wheels for about 2 years. And then in 2011 is when I read the book. And then I got busy with building something. I went from the corporate side to doing freelance graphic design and web design. I've been doing that since college, so I was able to sustain myself doing that for those 2 years. But there was never a question that I didn't want to do that anymore. I didn't want to do. I wanted off the corporate hamster wheel. I wanted off of that. And that's, being in that position, especially, everybody was looking at me like I was crazy. Like people go to school their whole lives to get in this spot, and you're just what? And I'm like, you know what? I know that I'm not happy. I know that I'm waking up, and I know that I'm getting anxiety just going to work, just walking through this door every day. And that was enough. That was enough for me.
Okay.
The 3 stripes started to feel like jail stripes after a while.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a real thing. Imagine, like, I couldn't wear any other brand, so I had at one time I had over 300 pairs of tennis shoes. It was bananas. And I'm still finding new pairs of tennis shoes in my closet.
That must be some big closet.
Yeah. They're back there, boy.
Okay. Bilo wants to know how she can subscribe to the BGR magazine.
You can definitely get on. It's blackgirlsride.com, and you'll see the latest issues there. I'm actually working on a really cool issue. It's going to be done soon, so I'll make sure that I also put that link in the group that we have, so that you guys can take a look at it. It's free. There's no subscription fees. I just ask that you share it and help us spread the word. That's it.
And what's the link for the New Orleans ride?
It's black. Here, wait a minute. Hold on. Aha, there we go. So down on the bottom, you'll see blackgirlsride.com/EssenceFest. Essence-Fest is the link. And you can get all the information. You'll see some stuff that we've done over the last 2 years. Well, and it's a party. Essence Fest is a party, man. We have last year we had about 240 women come out and attend. And what we do is this is a curated weekend for motorcyclists, everything from a biker brunch to we have party buses that take you down to Bourbon Street so you don't have to worry about drinking and riding. We have police escorted motorcycle rides so that we're safe through all the traffic. We had Dougie Fresh host one of our parties and Bobby Brown hosted another one. It's just a really, really good time. If you anybody's welcome to ride with us for sure on that.
Cool. We had a request for you to put up the purpose screen.
Which one? Oh, this one.
Deborah wants you to put the purpose screen up again. I don't know what that. Yeah.
Is that it? I think so.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then I will ask Lisa. Okay, Lisa wanted to know the New Orleans ride. Pat and Sylvia want to know what is next on your horizon to do.
Oh, I want to ride international. I want to get on a motorcycle across the pond and see what it's like riding in different terrains, different weather. And, I'd like to ride in London. I'd like to ride in South Africa. I'd like to see what else is beyond. This is what happens when you ride in 49 states, right? You start to go, there's more. I know there's more.
I hear you, sister.
Exactly. So, we last year for International Female Ride Day, we rode to Mexico, which was so much fun. I wished I could have kept going. I just wished I could have kept going with them. And then when we did the Women Riders World Relay and we handed the baton to Mexico, I wish I could have just kept going right along. But that was the wrong time of year. It was cold. It was cold.
Yeah. Vicki wants to know, what other resources have you incorporated to help you become who you are? You sound like someone who has done some soul searching and reflection and has come to a place of contentedness.
Oh, that's awesome. You know what? I do a lot of reading. I do a lot of praying. I do a lot of meditating. I suffer from depression. So I have to find my center. And the way I do that is with a motorcycle ride, because it's hard to be depressed on a bike. It is hard. Like, you can get on a bike and you can feel bad. And then after a while, you maybe went through one county and now you're seeing stuff you've never seen before. And you might get some new smells going on, and it just opens you up. And so that's where really where I find my happy place. And I knew that when I was riding the sport bike. So it only made sense that eventually I would learn to ride farther and go faster. I got somebody at my door and just, yeah, it's one of those days. But yeah, I read the Bible a lot to find a lot of lessons there. I read a lot. I'm reading from different people who have maybe done some of the same things. I read Elisa's book, which was amazing. I read Mama D's book, who was another one of the panelists, which was amazing. And you can find strength through someone else's journey, and you can find inspiration. And so I love reading about successful women in their biographies. I'm just totally into that.
Cool. Cool. Where are you based?
Long Beach, California.
Where is your favorite place to ride? Alina asked if you were, where are you based? And then now Eve asks, where is your favorite place to ride?
I am based in Long Beach, California. My favorite place to ride lately is PCH, but the southern part of PCH, not the Malibu section, but the part going down toward Newport Beach. I really like the little towns and neighborhoods down there. My favorite place across the country to ride is Montana. The most beautiful, gorgeous 85-mile-per-hour highway in the world. Also, Oregon. The Oregon highways are absolutely gorgeous in the summer. Um, I know she didn't ask, but my least favorite place to ride is New York City. Mm-mm. Nope. Nope.
Okay.
No, there was like a pothole the size of a three-bedroom apartment, and just yeah, I don't no New York.
Okay.
I like the city to hang out in. I'll go to the city, I'll park, and I'll Uber the whole time I'm there. But I don't like riding in New York. So
Portia, we have 8 minutes left of the
yes,
Q&A time, and I've got 12 questions.
go
So,
for it. We're gonna power
okay, we're
through.
gonna.
Let's do it.
Marjorie wants to know what kind of emotional or spiritual support, if any, did you receive from your family when you chose to leave your successful corporate career? Kind of a differentiation on that previous question.
You know what? We didn't. My mom wasn't. She wasn't mean to me, so that's as much emotional support as I would expect.
Okay. What we're gonna leave mom alone.
Right. She wasn't mean. It could have been way worse.
What were the early days? Patricia wants to know what the early days were like on your bike. How quickly did the confidence come?
Oh, the confidence came immediately. And I don't know where it came from, but it came immediately. I was not afraid, not once. I dropped it in traffic a couple times, from being on your tippy toes and not being able to handle it. And people would get out of their cars and they'd help me pick it up and I'd get right back on it. I was never afraid of falling, and I don't know where that came from. I think that I had always envisioned myself being able to do it. I saw that these girls could do it in the movie. We're built the same. We got the same parts. You just got to figure it out. So yeah, that was that.
Okay, cool. Sarah asks, how did you get into DJing, and does that also give you a sense of fulfillment?
Yes, it absolutely does. I got into DJing in college. Actually, the same cousin who taught me to ride taught me how to DJ records. He's awesome, by the way. Anyway, so I started DJing in my bedroom, but I started DJing college parties and throwing all kind of get-togethers for my friends, and we just would have a lot of fun. And music definitely helps me escape. So I can spin and just, it creates mood, it brings back memories. It's a great way to get rid of some anxiety.
Lisa says thanks. And Angela wants to know, she says that she's heard you speak at several events and gain more knowledge, and she gains more knowledge and inspiration each time. As a female bike mechanic and rider, we need more women like you to surround ourselves with. Thank you, she says.
Oh, thank you for that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Love the love. Love the love.
Yeah, me too. That's cool.
Liz says, I have never known how to take a leap of faith and pursue my photography and motorcycle dreams, riding and photographing the country, mainly because I haven't had the financial resources. Any advice?
You know what? I would say to start small. Start around your area. Start locally. Wherever you live, there's going to be great things to shoot. There's going to be great roads to ride. Start doing those on the weekend. Create your blog or however you want to share your imagery. And Instagram is a great place to pick up followers. And I would, if you've got some great photography, submit it. Submit it to different magazines. Try to get some exposure as a photographer in that world. You're going to do a lot of stuff for free. That's just how it goes. But ultimately, you will eventually, if you do it enough and you stick with it enough, you'll become a resource, and the community needs you, and you'll get hired.
Trisha says she feels like the screen sharing should be turned off now.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, Trisha.
Hold on. Okay.
And I apologize to Waitarihu. I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name right. I'm really trying. Waitarihu says that if you come to New Zealand, Portia, that
Oh man, I'm
they'll sh-
there.
she'll show you all over the country.
Yes, I'm
Okay.
there for sure.
So,
I'm there.
Waiteri, make sure that you connect with Portia. We've got her information. Well, you can connect with her through Black Girls Ride magazine. Her contact information will also be on the downloadable PDF.
Yes.
Still, Sylvia says, join WEMA.
Okay.
Erica wants to know whether you think you'd take up adventure riding.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Want to do it. Want to learn from Aaron Sills.
Okay, yeah. Give her some
So
other
I'm on it. I'm on that. That's definitely on the list.
Rosalind, send your question in again because it's an incomplete sentence and I don't understand.
No, is there a such thing as a bike being too big for someone?
For some, okay, over
You know what?
any.
I don't think so. I think that, I'm 5'4". I rode the BMW R1200 RT. Kind of, you get on it and you ride it. But I think it's up to your comfort level. Whatever bike you ride is going to be up to your comfort level and your skill set. And you should never ride something if you feel unsafe. So, yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I apologize to Rosalind for
That's
screwing
okay.
that up.
No, okay.
Regina, says, do you have any groups across the country or just in California?
So Black Girls Ride magazine, it's a magazine. It's not a club. It's not a formal group where you pay for membership. So everyone is always welcome to ride with us. We host riding events and support rides throughout the country for sure. You can get our calendar of events at blackgirlsride.com, and make sure you join our Facebook group, where we have a Facebook group for Black Girls Ride as well, where there's over 4,000 women, and everyone's welcome to join that.
Lisa wants to know if you've ever been to a track school.
Yes, I did Superbike school, which was amazing. Yeah, that was so cool, man. You know the thing about Superbike school and any other advanced rider training course, because I also did the Honda school too, is it's going to sharpen your skill set and your mind in a way that you might not have considered. You're going to learn safety things that they drill it into you so that when it happens in real life, it's instinct.
Yep.
And it's not something you have to think about. So I encourage everyone to take, whether it's a track day or advanced rider course, definitely do it because it could save your life.
We've got 1 minute left, so I want to share with you that Rosalind, and I think we all agree that we love your spirit, Portia. Thank you so much for being with us. I know there's still some unanswered questions. Maybe you feel like joining us in the in one of the networking session tonight
Sure,
if you have time.
absolutely. Yeah.
It's going to be 5 p.m. your time. That's in Pacific time,
Okay.
8 p.m. Eastern. Join the group, and then the rest of you ladies can answer the questions there. Thank you so much for joining us. And
Thank you for
again,
having
thank you for
me.
Portia. That you're amazing.
This was
Thank you.
fun. This was a lot of fun. Thank you
Yeah.
for having me.
Yeah, thanks. And everyone, we're going to take a 10-minute break and see you at 4 o'clock Eastern. Ciao for now.